Life isn't about finding the pieces of a puzzle. It's about creating and putting those exceptional pieces together. Glenn Van Decken. Life in many ways is like a puzzle, right? You're trying to put all the pieces together, you're trying to figure stuff out. Much like me, if you were a kid and you used to do jigsaw puzzles yourself, you have all these pieces, thousands of them sometimes, and you sit there with your family and just get confused as you kind of figure out how in the world am I going to put these pieces together. And in many ways, building a jigsaw puzzle is like figuring out our own life's journey, and more specifically in the context of this channel, our public speaking journey, which is exactly why in this week's episode of Master Talk, we're covering the 3 lessons that I learned from puzzles that apply to any presentation. Hi everyone, Brendan from Master Talk here on your go-to channel to mastering your talk. And today, we're covering the art of putting the pieces of a puzzle together. So let's get into it. Number 1, do the edges first. Picture this, you're with your family and you're trying to figure out this jigsaw puzzle. So naturally, as you're brainstorming, you're thinking, which pieces do I start with first? And most of you who have done a jigsaw puzzle know the answer to this question. The edges, the corner pieces of a puzzle are much easier to figure out than the middle. Because you got all these images and all those pieces have like 4 different things and you're kind of like, what do I do this? And that's the point. But here's the thing. In public speaking, we don't apply that analogy. There's a presentation we have for Friday. We have a couple of days to prepare for it. So what do? We shove a bunch of content, right? In other words, we start with the middle pieces first. And then when it's the day of the presentation, this is what happens. We go, this is the content and thank you. We don't think intentionally about how we start the presentation and how we end it. So in the same way with jigsaw puzzles, where you start with the corner pieces, you want to structure your presentation in a way where you think about the introduction first, then the conclusion, and focus on the middle pieces after. So focus on that and you'll be able to master the puzzle pieces of public speaking. Number 2, team up to conquer the middle. So you got the corner pieces figured out, you figured out the intro, you figured out the conclusion, and now you have the outline of your puzzle and your presentation. So now how do you go about conquering the middle pieces? The issue with most individuals out there is they try and prepare their presentations alone. It's boring, it's daunting, it's not fun. In the same way that if you had a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle and there's 950 pieces to go, there's nobody there around you to help you. It's kind of boring and not really exciting. The same analogy applies to public speaking. The secret that I don't tell a lot of people is that I do all my keynotes with my friends. A lot of my friends help me with the content, they contribute ideas, we make dinner conversations around them, and we make it exciting. In the same way that when you're working on a puzzle with your family, your brother might say, hey Josh, let me work on the sun. And then your sister might go, hey Bob, let me start working on the animals in this picture. And you'll come together to finish off the puzzle. It's a lot more fun, it's a lot more interesting. And it'll get you out of bed to actually start practicing public speaking in a way that's meaningful and exciting. So team up to conquer the middle and master your presentations. Number 3, celebrate the masterpiece and do it all over again. The beauty of puzzles is you spend so many hours, so much time, and so many resources to get the job done. You look at that masterpiece and you say, wow, this puzzle looks really nice for 15 minutes. And then what do you do at the end of the 15 minutes? You say, okay, this puzzle was really nice. Let's go on to the next one. And you either gift it to a friend for them to do, or you just move on to the next puzzle. And I think a lot of that has to do with public speaking as well, in the sense that when you have a perfect keynote, quote unquote, the journey never ends, especially if you're a professional speaker. You're crafting a new keynote, you're crafting a new topic, and the journey starts again. How can I recreate this puzzle and make it another masterpiece? So the point of this conversation in puzzles is simple. Realize that you're always a masterpiece in progress, regardless of how great you are at public speaking. And the more puzzles you build out, the higher your confidence will be and your style will be unique. So master the puzzle, and you might just be a couple of steps closer to mastering your talk. As Glenn always said, life isn't about finding the pieces of the puzzle. It's about creating and putting those exceptional pieces together. And as my coach once said, the bigger the dream, the better the team. As you get better with communication and public speaking, and as you start building new puzzles in the puzzle pieces of the world of presentations, acknowledge where you're at in the journey and aspire for bigger and bigger puzzles. As always, if you enjoyed this week's episode of Master Talk, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to see more videos like this. And if you know anyone who's a fan of puzzles, who likes puzzles, and who likes solving problems, send them this video so that they'll be one step closer to mastering the puzzle pieces in their lives. Take care, everyone, and see you next time on Master Talk.